يجي بقى لا ده يجي بقى عبد الصورة تجي مول الجمعة ها بسم الله ما شاء الله اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد بسم الله ما شاء الله.
Trapped in their vehicles and swept away by floodwaters. The vehicle carrying 4 people was swept away by the flood. Two of them were rescued, but the other 2 were swept away by the current.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. يا الله يا الله يا الله يا الله.
Based on initial information, both of them have died, but their bodies have not been found, said a Dohuk civil defense spokesman. Footage from the site showed damaged houses and dozens of vehicles submerged in water as landslides hit the road. The Directorate of Civil Defense in Dohuk Governorate announced on Tuesday that 2 people were killed and more than 30 houses were damaged by flooding. The Directorate's media officer, Lieutenant Colonel Baiwar Abdulaziz, said in a statement to Iraqi news channels, followed by the Iraqi news agency, INA, floodwaters entered several houses along the Hishkaro River in the center of Dohuk city, and noted that the floodwaters causing the deaths of 2 missing people, as found in the Nazarka tunnel located on the main Barzan road in Dohuk city, in addition to damage to more than 30 houses due to flooding in Dohuk city as the initial victims. He urged drivers and citizens coming from Erbil to Dohuk not to use the main Barzan road due to flooding and instead use the Badriat road. Most provinces in Iraq experienced heavy rains yesterday, resulting in flooding in several cities, including Duhok and Erbil. Shafaq News. On Tuesday, the civil defense in Dohuk announced the evacuation of more than 100 people trapped by flooding in the Kurdistan region. Colonel Baiwar Abdulaziz, media officer at the Dohuk Fire Department, told Shafaq News Agency, since morning, our teams have managed to evacuate more than 100 people who were trapped in their cars or homes due to the strong currents and floods that hit the governor. More than 100 houses were damaged, and about 10 were destroyed. In addition, dozens of residents were evacuated from houses near the Hashkaru River and other areas. He noted, dozens of homeless people are now being accommodated in government-designated schools and hotels. Earlier today, Colonel Abdulaziz revealed that floods in the city killed 2 people in the Iraqi area and severely damaged more than 20 houses and many vehicles. Notably, Iraq has experienced thunderstorms since yesterday evening, accompanied by heavy rains, which caused widespread flooding and damage to homes and agricultural land in many areas. Flash floods caused by heavy rain hit Iraq's Dohuk province on Tuesday, March 19, leaving at least 2 people dead. The victims were trapped in their vehicles and swept away by floodwaters. The vehicle carrying 4 people was swept away by the flood. 2 of them were rescued, but the other 2 were swept away by the current. Based on initial information, both of them have died, but their bodies have not been found, said a Dohuk civil defense spokesman. Footage from the site showed damaged houses and dozens of vehicles submerged in water as landslides hit the road. A wave of torrential downpours hit Iraq's Dohuk province in the Kurdistan region in the far north of the country, following a continuous wave of rain in the northern region 2 days ago. The Directorate of Civil Defense announced that 2 people were missing due to heavy rains that hit the governorate and caused flooding. Civil Defense said that dozens of houses were submerged in the city of Dohuk, and torrential flows and rain closed entire roads and neighborhoods in the city and suburbs. Dohuk Governorate Regional Prosecutor, Ismail Mohammed, asked residents not to leave their homes unless necessary. Civil maintenance teams were also deployed to search for missing people and provide assistance to those affected by the floods. The Media Directorate official, Lieutenant Colonel Baywar Abdul Aziz, said the air flood entered a number of houses overlooking the Hashkaru River in central Dohuk. He added that the rain caused the death of 2 people who had gone missing earlier, and they were found in the Nazarka tunnel located on the city's main Barzan road. He confirmed that more than 30 houses were damaged by the flood as the initial victims, and appealed to motorists and residents coming from Erbil to Dohuk not to pass through the main Barzan road due to the flood. Civil Defense in Dohuk Governorate announced the rescue of more than 100 people trapped by floodwaters in the city. Iraqi media quoted a spokesperson for the civil maintenance team as saying, since Tuesday morning, rescue teams have been able to save more than 100 people who were trapped in their homes or cars due to the strong currents and floods that hit Dohuk province. Dozens of other houses near the Hashkaru River and other areas were evacuated. He stated that dozens of people who left their homes are now staying in schools and hotels designated to accommodate them by the government. A number of cities, including the provinces of Dohuk and Erbil. The Nineveh Governorate also suspended work for 2 days due to poor weather conditions and continued rainfall in the city of Mosul. Anbar Governorate also announced the suspension of official working hours on Tuesday due to bad weather conditions. Atia said in a post on the X platform, the location of the cold front is now moving towards cities in the south and east of the country, and a belt of thunderclouds can be seen forming at the front. He continued, as for the clouds and belts of lightning and thunder that flow to the north of the country towards Anbar, they follow the depression in the upper layers of the atmosphere, and there is a rise from the center of the surface depression, as well as the surface depression. Terrain factor. He stressed that weather conditions will continue in Iraq's Kurdistan region, northern Nineveh, as well as northern and eastern Diyala. Al-Attiyah warned of heavy rain until Wednesday morning in Nineveh, Erbil, Dohuk, and Sulaymaniyah, as well as in the evening in Basra and Mason. Every time a depression occurs, the streets of Iraqi cities are flooded with water, due to the lack of drainage systems and the collapse of infrastructure, which multiplies the risk of torrential flows and flooding due to rain. Despite the allocation of billions of dinars, Iraqi cities are still vulnerable to drought and sweltering heat in summer or flooding and sinking of cities in winter. Bloggers on social media criticized the government's actions in Baghdad and Erbil and their inability to find a solution to the crisis that recurs every year. The Weather Forecast Department at the General Authority of Meteorology had previously warned of possible flooding in Iraqi provinces, coinciding with Iraq being affected by a rain-inducing depression.
طب واخر طب ولك ده طوب ولك ده طوب بعد ما بقول لك لو هيك